So thank you again, everybody, for taking some time out of your day. This bit of time, 1 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesdays every week, one of my favorite times of the whole week, something I look forward to because it's a chance to really just connect with our customers. We really appreciate you considering MGT, putting us in the mix, helping the small businesses in your community protect their investments, continue to serve their customers and their neighborhoods. And thank you, for everything you do and for choosing MGT as a partner. So let's go ahead. I'll get the demo kicked off. So I will share my screen with you, and we'll talk appetite and all that good stuff as we go through as well. So let me go ahead. I'll get my screen shared here. And so this is pulled up to our dashboard. This is what you'll see as soon as you log in at mgtinsurance.com. And believe it or not, it does exactly what you would want a dashboard to do. So you can start quotes. You can also manage quotes that you've been working on or your team has been working on. And if you click into the policies tab, you can manage your book of business with us as well. Now, let me take a quick detour here and we'll view self-service. It just takes 2 clicks once you get into the platform. There's a lot of good features here that are available both for you and for the policyholder. One thing I always like to highlight is we do a great job making things easy to get from needing a quote to having a quote. But then after that policy's bound, it continues to be really, really easy to maintain it throughout its life. In the Documents and Communications Center, you can find a full record of all the communications we've ever sent related to this policy. If you ever bind one with us and a couple weeks later you get a phone call, hey Dan, thought I bound a policy with you, but I never got a receipt. Do I have insurance? What's going on? No need to panic. Go to mgtinsurance.com, get logged in. 2 clicks will get you into the self-service page, and you can confirm from here, yes, that policy is active. You can also let them know exactly when we sent the receipt. You can even open up that message so you can see what it says and give them any details they might need there. Also in this page, you can view the declarations page. You can create a certificate of insurance. You can download the full policy jacket as well. That's all available to you as soon as we bind and issue a policy. So if you ever in a situation where you have someone who's waiting on proof of insurance, you don't have to keep going back in every couple of days and checking to see if it's been issued yet after it's been bound. We do everything at the exact same time. You have access to those docs, fire them out, move on to the next thing on your to-do list, because I'm sure your plate is full. Also in this page, we've got tabs for payments where you can update payment information, see payment histories, and a tab for claims here where you can file and track claims as well. And again, that's available all to you and to the policyholder. We'll click on the name in the upper right to go back to the beginning. And to start a quote out, first thing we'll do is put in the class of business. This is a great tool to start with. If you're ever wondering, is this risk that I'm working on a fit with MGT? Can I take a shot? All you have to do is come here, start out by putting in the class of business. And this box has some keyword search built in as well, so you don't have to memorize every single NAICS code. Say you have a roofer. The platform will know that a roofer is a type of contractor. And then when you select that, it'll tell you that's not an appetite for MGT. And that way, at least you know before you've done a whole lot of legwork on that submission. And so then you can easily pivot, find a plan B or a plan C without having to spin your wheels on it. Kind of on the same line, say you're talking to a doctor. If you enter doctor into that box, it'll pull up all of our medical office class codes. And then from there, you can just find the one that will best describe that risk. So next thing we'll do after we put in the class of business is enter the address. Pretty self-explanatory there. And then once we've got the address selected, just click go. And then in the next page, you'll see a street view of that location. This is a great opportunity to validate the risk, make sure you've got the right address. We do see that every once in a while where we're quoting a location that's across the street from where we actually should be quoting. You can double check details like the siding type, the roof shape, what the parking lot and the sidewalk look like. Make sure there's no dynamite factories next door. And then we'll start to answer some questions to really describe the risk and the coverage needs that we're working with. So if they own any buildings, you'll get a couple follow-up questions. And again, our goal throughout this whole process is to get you to either a yes or a no as fast as we can. And so there are a couple situations that come up a lot. If you're ever working on a risk that owns the building that they're in, and there are multiple occupancies in that building, it's just not a great fit for MGT. That because that comes up so often, we wanted to put that right up front. And so if you say yes to that question, it'll let you know straight up that's not going to be a fit with MGT. And again, makes it easy to pivot, start working on that plan B. If we say no, it'll ask about builder's risk, which also comes up frequently. Similarly, answer yes there. It's going to stop the process, let you know that's not an appetite for us. And then once we've got the questions answered, then we'll click continue to actually start entering information about this risk. I'm not going to make all of you folks who kindly tuned in to our weekly webinar watch me type in and then make typos and delete the same thing over and over again. So let me open up this quote that I previously worked on. Use a little TV magic, and it comes right out of the oven. So step one is entering in some basic information about the business. The class of business and the address pre-fill from that last page. And then we'll enter some basic details like the name, phone number, gross sales, some information about the business owner. We can add any additional locations in this first page as well. And then we'll click continue. And then in the next page, we'll set the effective date, answer a couple more questions about the business, provide some details about their insurance history, and then we'll click continue again, and we're all done now with step one. In step two, this is where we will answer all of the eligibility questions. This list actually populates based on the class of business that we're working with, so it's only asking questions that are relevant to that specific risk. And so because of that, this is not really a heavyweight kind of page here. This example has 7 questions. That's about as many as you'll ever see when you're working with us. No offense to any accountants out there, but tend to be a pretty straightforward, some might say boring class of business. I work in insurance, so who am I to throw that word around? But for an accountant, you might see 4 questions in this section. And we'll click continue. And we are all done now with step 2. In step 3, we'll start to enter in some location information. And a quick tip here, I always like to highlight this ability because every day I'll see a submission or 2 come in where in that very first page they say, yes, we need building limits. Make it here to page 3, take a second look at those apps. Turns out it's actually a rental unit. Good news, you do not have to restart your submission. In this top drop-down box here, just select business personal property only. That will remove the building information, and then you can just proceed with your submission. Nice and straightforward. Even when we are including building information though, it's still not a whole lot of data entry required. You know, how big is it? What's it made out of? When was it built? What's the roof look like? Couple questions here about what's going on inside. And then we'll get a value for the building. We do provide an estimated replacement cost, but that is a free entry box. So if the number we're calculating is not the number you're working with, you can enter in any number in this box here. If it's too far outside of the allowed variance, that may refer. It should just give our underwriters a chance to check in and make sure that we're appropriately valuing that location. Then we'll click continue. And in the next page, we can add any additional insurance that we need to add. Click continue again. And at this point, we've got check, check, check. We've asked all the underwriting questions. More than likely, this business, sorry, will be a good fit with MGT. And so all there is to do now is the fun part, adding in some optional coverages. Much like our eligibility questions, this list also populates based on what's available for that class of business and in that state. For a grocery store, spoilage coverage could be a big concern, and so that's an important one to be able to offer. You won't really see a need for professional liability with grocers, though. On the other hand, if you're quoting a nail salon with us, the professional liability can be an important concern for them, and that is something you would be able to include for that class of business. So we're only going to show you what is actually available for that risk. Once you've got your optional coverages selected, click continue. There will be a few underwriting questions. So we'll just enter a couple pieces of information here and set the coverage limit, and then select our coverage type. Depending on the optional coverages that you're adding, there may be more questions, maybe fewer questions, but we'll just get the information that we need, and then make sure that that risk is still eligible for that optional coverage as well. Got all that entered in, and now we can click see your quote. Once that little circle starts to spin in the middle of the screen, that's really where the magic is happening. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of tech coming into play. The servers are getting fired up. They're running a bunch of different scores. They're checking different databases. They're geolocating the risk. And in just seconds, we've got a quote back where you might still be waiting on an underwriter at a more traditionally operated insurance carrier just to even open their email and look at those apps you just sent. So pricing is available in quarterly payments or one annual payment. For quarterly payments, it will let you know exactly what the down payment is, what each installment will be. And then for the annual payment, there's a credit associated with that. It'll tell you exactly what that adds up to be as well. The rest of this page, I am sure everyone on this call has seen probably a million pages that look just like this. We're setting all of our limits, we're setting our deductibles. A couple things I will call out here though is we are not forcing all of this extra coverage on policyholders. You're really able to tailor the policy to their specific needs. And so that's a great feature to be able to offer. And then also this system will only show you bindable options. I've worked in different carrier platforms in previous roles that would let you quote anything you wanted to. You know, we'll take your dynamite factories and hey, if they have an orphanage next door, throw on a 10% credit while you're in there. Don't worry about it. And then if that were to go to bind, the underwriters would waste no time giving it a firm no. With MGT, you can feel confident that you can stand behind these terms. All quotes produced through our platform are bindable quotes. So once we've got everything locked in, we'll click continue. And then in the next page, we can print out the quote. You'll notice all of these drop-down boxes now are grayed out, so they can't be edited from here. You can print that quote out, just takes all this, puts it into a nice, neat PDF you can send out as part of your proposal. If you did need to go back and make further changes, you can always click previous and do that. And once they're ready to go, just click confirm and purchase. And then in the next page, you'll have the option to either send the payment link to the prospect or to collect their payment information right there. We've just found over the years that not everybody likes to share credit card information over the phone. Completely fine. We actually include some cyber liability limits on the BOP, so we appreciate that attitude and thank them for their diligence. If that is the case, just confirm their email address, click send to prospect. They'll get an email with a secure payment link that they can use to make payment on the policy. It'll look very much like this purchase now page. And in this page, all we have to do is select annual or quarterly payments, e-check, credit, or debit. Always like to highlight here, we do not charge any payment fees, no matter how they choose to pay. Enter in the payment information, billing zip, auto pay is automatically selected. You can always unselect that if that's more appropriate, but we definitely do see that auto pay improves retention markedly. All their contact information pulls in from previous pages, just confirm their email address, agree that they are actually allowed to purchase the policy, and then click submit payment. As soon as that payment goes through, we bind and issue the policy. You'll have access to all those documents in the self-service platform, and we'll also email a link to the policyholder so they can create an account and access those features in the self-service platform too. So if you want to provide that high level of service, that white glove treatment, you have all the tools with MGT to do that. A lot of people these days also do expect that they can do some of the basic policy maintenance on their own. We give them the power to do that as well. So I will stop here now and let me check the chat, see if there are any questions. Let's see. So we had one good question come in. It's from a agent who says they're in a small town and they see a lot of older buildings in their Main Street area where they've had updates, they've been maintained, but built in 1940s, 1950s, maybe even earlier. Good news, MGT is a market for buildings like that. We actually don't have a maximum age of construction. We are writing all of our property on special form coverage, so we're looking for nicer, well-maintained locations. If that's the case, and it's maybe built back in the early 1900s, late 1800s, send it our way. We can be a great fit, and there's an instant quote for you. So great questions. Thank you everybody for taking some time for me today. At this point, I'll just wrap up and say thank you so much for working with MGT. We know you have a lot of choices when it comes to carriers that you can work with. We really appreciate the opportunity to work with you. So hope you have a great weekend, or sorry, great week. Getting a little ahead of myself there. Check the chat. Sean just shared our support email address. That's a great contact to keep handy. Any emails there will go to our whole support team, and we're standing by ready to help when you have any questions. We did also just roll out a brand new AI-powered, always available appetite agent we are calling Aimee. Aimee is awesome. Very, very fun. Feel free to go in there, try and stump her. See if you can, but great way to get good information. Another question that just came through from Sammy, New York, anytime. Let me tell you, we would love to go into New York. Don't know if you've ever heard this about the DFS there, kind of tough to work with. So we are working on getting admitted to do business in New York. We're currently in the process with them. Hard to give you a firm timeline on when that'll happen though. But definitely stay tuned. Once we are live in New York, we will make sure that you know. So thank you again, everybody. We do record these webinars. We will share this recording on our YouTube channel. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button while you're there. And thank you again. We'll see you in the platform. And if you need anything at all, always feel welcome to reach out. You have a whole team here at MGT to support you.